All right, the Bears host the Dolphins in the preseason opener on Sunday, but before that, they have a joint practice on Friday. So I'm going to take a look at 10 players to watch during the joint practice. My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome into Bears Now by Chat Sports. And if you want the Bears to dominate the Dolphins both on Friday and on Sunday, hit that like button. I'm just excited for the Bears to be playing a different opponent and not themselves. Finally, because, training camp, it can start to drag a bit. So hit that like button if you want the Bears to light up the Dolphins. All right, we'll start with some offensive guys. Obviously, Caleb. I think these joint practices, probably more than anything, carry the most weight in the preseason time. Training camp practices obviously matter. Any reps he does get in the preseason games obviously matter. But the most intense competitive environment typically are these joint practices. It can get a little chippy. Both teams are going to, kind of open up the playbooks a little bit, and let's just see how he does. This is a good litmus test because when they practice on Friday, that'll be August 8th. So be what? Like 2.5, just short of 3 weeks into camp. So it'll be a good kind of measuring stick to see how he is, how he performs in this new offense. How comfortable is he in it? Are they avoiding pre-snap penalties? Because that was an issue at FanFest the other day. So I think it'll be a good litmus test for Caleb and the starters. And obviously, be a nice little moment, too, if he outperforms Tua in this practice as well. All right, Kyle Monangai, another guy I'm keeping an eye on. I think he's a big preseason guy to watch in general. As Ben Johnson the other day said, listen, this is a guy I think we're going to be able to trust this fall. So that tells me he's going to have a role on this football team. And let's see if he can impose his will in these practices. He's a physical runner, good contact balance. Obviously, they'll be hitting some in this environment on Friday. He's been trending up recently. I don't want to say he surpassed Roschon Johnson. It's probably too early to make that declaration, but I do think that's a real battle to see who's going to be the second running back in this offense behind DeAndre Swift. The rookie out of Rutgers making some noise. All right, Rome Odunze is next up here, the second-year wide receiver who is in the circle of trust for Ben Johnson. He was one of the playmakers that Ben named that he fully trusts at this point. I want to see if he can dominate. Dolphins corners kind of suck. They traded Jalen Ramsey. They don't have that true number one outside corner. It's kind of just a mixed bag of guys out there, journeymen, young players. Rome Odunze should be able to have his way out there. I could list DJ Moore too, but we kind of know what he's about, so we don't need to spend too much time on him. But we're all anticipating a big year 2 jump for Rome. He's had a good training camp up to this point, had a really nice touchdown over Kyler Gordon in the corner of the end zone the other day. So he's been making plays. Go do it against an opponent because I want this guy to be targeted early and often this year. Subscribe and join us. We'll have a joint practice reaction on Friday as soon as practice wraps up. I think it's at 10:30 a.m., so probably have a video out in the early afternoon, and then we'll be live on Sunday as well for Bears versus Dolphins. 10:45 a.m. Central Time, noon kickoff. Myself, producer Cullen, the dynamic duo, back at it here, getting you guys ready for a little preseason football. All right, we'll talk about the two rooks at back-to-back here with Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. Both have been trending up in recent days, really since camp started for Colston. Then obviously once Luther was able to get out there, missed the first 4 practices, but since then has been making a lot of plays. And it's time to earn Ben Johnson's trust because he said that both Colston and Luther are still playing catch-up from the time they missed in OTAs and minicamp with the injury, and in Luther's case, the first 4 practices of training camp. But we've seen it. Both guys have been making a lot of plays. Now, it's a crowded skill group, right? Like Colston's got to compete for targets with Cole Kmet. Luther Burden's got to compete with DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Olamide Zaccheaus. So they're not just going to be given roles, but if they keep making plays like they have, if that translates to these joint practices, to the preseason, eventually you got to play guys that just make plays. So excited to see what they can do out there. I think a big practice against Miami for both would be a big, big deal. Bigger rookie year. Who's going to have a bigger rookie year? Type CL for Colston Loveland or LB for Luther Burden III. I think it's going to be Colston because I think it's just less crowded in that tight end room, and he's been making plays every single day. Little honorable mention for the offense, Ozzie Trapillo, obviously at left tackle. We'll see if by Friday, if he's the clear kind of cut and dry first-team starter at left tackle. I don't know if you could make that determination before the joint practice, before a preseason game, but maybe they will. Maybe they think enough separation will have taken place. I do think he's in the clear lead over Braxton Jones right now, but let's see how he goes up against another defense. And, you play the same group every day, you can start to pick up on certain tendencies. Well, this will be his first time against a different opponent as a rookie tackle, so that'll be a good litmus test for him as well. Speaking of Caleb Williams, if you're watching this live on Monday, these jerseys are $80 for a limited time only. Now, if it's later in the week, TBD. At most, it'll be $100. Still a really good deal. Normally, these Nike Authentic jerseys are like $120. So take advantage of the deal today. But if you're ordering on Monday, you can get a really good price. Chatsports.com/Caleb Jersey. Click the link in the comments and description of this video. All right, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. 5 players here. Dayo Odengbo, who started camp slow, but the last few practices, dating back to the practice before FanFest, he's been picking it up. Beat Ozzie Trapillo once at FanFest, which flushed Caleb out earlier than he wanted. That's a good sign. Now, I don't think he's going to be some dominant player, but if he can flash enough and take advantage of one-on-one looks he should get playing opposite of Montez Sweat, that would be a big development because the Bears need him to play well. A, because they paid him to be a starter, and B, the depth coming off the edge just isn't that great. Tano Passanio, you're hoping he's a quality vet. Austin Booker, can you get that year 2 jump where he can at least be a solid rotation player? Dominic Robinson, Daniel Hardy, haven't heard their names much in camp, so Dayo Odengbo needs to be reliable for this team. How about Nahshon Wright, who has had a really good camp up to this point? Was kind of a bust in Dallas as a 3rd-round pick, but Al Harris knew him well there, brought him over to Chicago after spending last season in Minnesota, and he's been working with the ones a lot with Jalen Johnson out. It's been him and Tyreek Stevenson, the 2 primary outside corners, with Terrell Smith rotating in some. And I just wonder, is this real? Is this a real development that this guy could not only make the team, which heading into OTAs, I would have said he's on the outside looking in. Now it feels like he's on the safe side of the 53, but also in the mix to start, even when Jalen gets back. That CB2 competition, according to Dennis Allen, is up for grabs. So if you're Nahshon Wright, you go out there, lock up some of these Dolphins receivers on a couple of plays. They got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, 2 tough matchups with their speed, and Nahshon Wright being more of a big physical press corner. So that'll be a good test for him as well. That CB2 competition is definitely the one to watch on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, Ruben Hippolyte, rookie linebacker. We've started to hear his name a little bit more and more as camp has gone on. Had a strong OTAs period back in June. And ultimately, you just want to feel good about the 3rd linebacker. Obviously, they're going to sit in nickel a lot, and that's going to be TJ and Tremaine as the 2 linebackers out there. We know that. But when you go to base, is it Ruben Hippolyte? Is it Noah Sewell? Is it someone else? If Tremaine or TJ goes down, do you trust Hippolyte to step in there and be a full-time starter? You need to feel good about this spot, your number 3 linebacker, because if not, that could be a position when roster cut-down day comes or a free agent out there when you get closer to week 1 that you add a vet at that position if you're not completely confident in Ruben Hippolyte and or someone else. All right, a couple more here. Austin Booker, who had a fantastic preseason last year, really stood out, and then in the regular season didn't do much. So kind of a reminder to take preseason with a grain of salt, but also we have not heard much at all about Austin Booker. Now, he did have a sack at FanFest. That was a good sign to see him flash like that. But all in all, it's been fairly quiet. In OTAs, Dominic Robinson got a shout from Ben Johnson. Austin Booker did not. So not really sure where he fits in the Bears' plans and pecking order at this point in time. But they were really excited about him last year when they traded back into the draft to pick him in the 5th round. They viewed him as a future potential starter, if not at least a solid rotation player. I would say he's an okay rotation player right now. Needs to be better than that this season. And then lastly, Jaquan Brisker. Not because we need to see what he's all about as a player. We know he's good. We know he's a rah-rah guy. But to me, it's like this could be his I'm fully back moment because he missed the last 12 games last year with the concussion. We know it's going to be physical out there. It's going to be demanding. If he goes out there and makes some plays, gets through this practice, no harm, no foul, then I think he can just mentally feel even more confident heading into a critical season for him and for this team as well. He's in a contract year. He's got to prove he can stay healthy while still playing at a high level with his physical nature of a strong safety in this league. And he said, he's like, I can only play the way I know how to play. So I don't think he's going to scale back how hard he's trying to hit people because of his concussion history. But up to this point in camp, it's been all good. And this will be another test to see if he can pass it. Who are you watching closest at joint practice? Who's the name you want to keep an eye on most? I'll try to take a close look, and we'll give you guys a reaction during our practice report on Friday. But let me know who that is. My name is Harrison Graham. Don't forget to subscribe. We will have a video on Friday reacting to joint practice. And then, of course, on Sunday, it'll be our live watch party with myself and producer Colin. So a lot to come here on Chicago Bears Now.